This is the TDK podcast. It's myself, LL. Today I'm here with David. I'm here with Darnell, and I'm here with Tunde. When you listen to the show, I mean, if you decide that you do like it, like the video and subscribe. Today, what we're going to be doing is, we're going to have the epic battle of all battles. We're going to have AJ versus Wilder. Podcast style.
No, that's not what this is, man.
I'm joking. So what we're doing, all right, so what we're basically going to do is, Darnell, as you can hear, he's American. Yeah, we're all friends, but we have very different viewpoints on boxing, Tunde, you've heard Tunde on this podcast before. So, Darnell has some unsavory viewpoints, let's say, about AJ. So he's gonna make his points about AJ, and him and Tunde are basically gonna, we're gonna see what comes of this here. Do you know what I mean? Darnell's gonna make his points about AJ, Tunde's gonna make his points, and they're gonna have a discussion about it. Me and Dave, for the most part, we're gonna be listening. We're not really gonna take a side on the discussion. We're gonna kind of just see what happens with these two. So what I'll say is, what we probably do, we let Darnell go first. Darnell can state his point, and then Tunde can respond and ask questions himself, and that we see how the conversation goes. Are you okay with that, Darnell?
Yeah.
Yeah, you okay with that as well, yeah, Tunde?
Yeah, man. I'm good.
All right, cool. So yeah, let's do this then. So Darnell, state your issue.
My issue. Well, first off, I'd like to qualify a couple of things. I am not a Wilder fan. Let's first get that out the picture. This is not coming from a Wilder fan. I don't like Wilder. I don't want him to be unified heavyweight champ. That's not what this is. Also, I do actually like Anthony Joshua, but I think that UK fans coddle his weaknesses a little bit too much and don't acknowledge them. It seems like everything he does is, he looked great, and it's like, if he faces the right opponent, this will get exposed. Like when your boy exposed him. What's his name? Ruiz. That was my point with it. Like I think he represents. I think me and you talked about it. I talked about it with somebody.
Yeah.
I think he represents the heavyweight belt very well. You know what I mean? He's not like Wilder makes us cringe over here. I don't know if y'all know that. First off, I'm from the North. He's Southern. He sounds country than him. Am I allowed to cuss on here? I don't know how how professional do we have to keep it? I mean,
we keep it respectable, but obviously we're talking freely in it, so don't worry about none of that. It's fine.
He's country than a motherfucker, and we cringe to hear him talk, to try to string together articulate points, and it's like, man, shut up. Like, he makes us look like buffoons over here. So when he gets in front of the camera, he's saying all this dumb shit. He's got the mohawk, all these chains, looking country, and it's just like, he's not a good representation of what we are and what we believe in. But, you see Anthony Joshua, he's more of a humble cat, cool guy, never really embarrassing himself. It's cool. He seems like a very, he's humble man. So I have no personal issue with him. But a lot of times when you bring out his weaknesses, you talk about his lack of knowledge when it comes to the sweet science. People act like, you're hating him. You Yankees, you just don't like him. The UK's taking over boxing and all this other. It's like, are you kidding me? This. So I just wanted to get that out the way. Now my issue with him, he's an elite athlete, and I think he's been able to pretty much out athlete a lot of his opponents. I have not witnessed a lot of skill. Just like on the other side with Wilder, he has zero skill. Zero. He has a big punch. Eventually it lands, but he's also an elite level athlete. Joshua has a lot more skill than Wilder does. But then when you're talking about certain opponents, unifying belts, and historically, he lacks a lot of skill. And I just want to see him work on these issues if he can. So that was just me starting out. I didn't know if we start out with a premise or.
I hear what you're saying in regards to Anthony Joshua not showing too much in the way of skill. But what we have to remember is that Anthony Joshua has been in boxing, amateur and professional, a total of 13 years, total, amateur and professional. So he became world champion, literally must have been, 2016? 9 years after walking into a boxing gym for the first time. So he's already at a disadvantage at the age of 18, 19, putting on a pair of boxing gloves. So in terms of his learning, it was extremely steep. He won the ABA's 2010, a few years after walking into the gym. He won a couple of other championships, sort of like 2008, 2009. So he's been fast-tracked, or he's fast-tracked himself by way of his athleticism. But this is somebody who, he shouldn't have gone for the world title at 2016, really and truly, but he did. So he's been fast-tracked. So he's been learning on the job effectively. So he hasn't had, the schooling that, you would expect somebody, a boxer to have, because they'll be fighting from when they're like yay high. He hasn't done that.
Right.
So, and he's fighting and beating people who have been amateurs from when they were like 5, 6. Ruiz, Klitschko, all of these other fighters who've had that sort of schooling. He's had to do that on the job, and he's done it in a way where, like I said, he won the world championship at 2016. He won the Olympic gold 2012, like 4 or 5 years after picking up a pair of gloves for the first time. He's beaten all of these people that have been fighting for like a good 10, 12 years. So in terms of his skill set and actually where he is, he's overachieved by far. Mm. So, and again, in his last fight, we've seen certain attributes that we haven't seen before. So the head movement, which was non-existent in his earlier fights. Yeah, the way that he's moving around the ring a lot more, he's utilizing the ring, he's having a bit more in terms of ring generalship. But these are things that are still sort of like ongoing with him. And I don't think people are aware of how much he's had to cram in such a short time. 12, 13 years, amateur and professional. That's mad. He's been a professional for like, 7 years? 7 years he's been professional. And 3 years after turning professional, he won the IBF. 3 years after turning professional. He shouldn't have done it, but he did. He got called out and he did. So, I hear what you're saying in that, like, yeah, there are certain attributes that he didn't show initially. He got caught out by Ruiz. We all know that. But then again, that was what, a month, a few weeks it had to be changed when he was fighting a completely different fighter. He built himself in a way where he was fighting a completely different fighter. So, and I'm not even making excuses for him. He got hit on the side of the head. He didn't recover. He's learned from that now. The thing with Anthony Joshua is no matter what he does, he's going to get criticism anyway. So it's like in the second fight, he didn't engage Ruiz, which he should never have done anyway, right? But people are saying, oh, why didn't he go in for a tear up? Oh, he's scared, he's this, he's that. I mean, Deontay Twerker was saying the same thing. We need to bear in mind exactly how far he's come in such a short time. And that's probably a reason why there are certain inefficiencies that he has, or there are certain attributes that he's not as schooled on as he should be had he been in the game maybe 20 years from the age of 10.
Okay. Good response. Okay, so Darnell, I mean, how would you like to respond to that?
Well, and that was kind of the issue that I have. You guys are still holding his hand through this. You know what I'm saying? 1 minute, he's heavyweight champ of the world, best in the world. Then he hasn't been boxing that long. Let's judge him as if he's a prospect. He's no longer a prospect anymore. You're talking about the elite heavyweights in the world. So even though, yes, he doesn't have the tenure that certain other boxers have, he's still in that elite level class. So we're judging him based off of the elite level class that he's in, not the amount of years that he's been doing it. you know, he has some belts. He's partly unified some of the belts. He holds what, 3-4 belts? How many belts you got? 3?
4 belts.
4. So we can't do him like he's Daniel Dubois. You know, he's hey, you're in this now. You know, this is why we're here. And with that said, part of the criticism that he got when he fought Ruiz the second time was criticism that he created. I have the video still that I could send to you where he talked about how Fury stole the belts from Klitschko. He danced all around the ring. It was kind of like a robbery. You know, when I take belts from a man, I want to look him in the eye and take him, snatch him out his hand. That wasn't that kind of performance.
I remember what you're saying.
That wasn't that type of performance. I mean, just say that. Like, if you don't want to engage the man, that's cool. You know, you outpointed him, but people to act like this was some kind of great strategic, you know, planned out fight. I mean, he's 6'6", you fighting a fighter 6'1". If you jab and dance around the ring, you should easily be able to outpoint him. And he came in 20 pounds overweight to an already obese frame. He couldn't even catch him around the ring. He had no shot. We saw he was 20. He gained 20 to an already big frame. Like, what are you doing? Like, what were you thinking? Were you ready for a heavyweight fight? So it's like, so then, you know, I'm back, I'm champ again. And it's kind of, we side eye him like, yeah, you know, I guess, okay, he's champ, got to respect it. But my issue with the Pulev fight was that guy is a stationary target that stands right in front of you. It didn't take a lot of movement. He doesn't throw punches from different weird angles. You know where his punches is coming from, and you know where he's going to be at, right in front of you. So when he had him hurt, once he had him hurt, I felt like he should have been able to finish him, show that killer instinct. And what I was saying was not that it was a bad performance. It was a cool performance. He handled business. He did what he should have done. But where me and Lee started debating was on the post, my man Chico, it was perfection. I'm like, perfection? And you see, and Lee, I told Lee this. He ducks around certain shit when he knows you're right and doesn't want to answer. I'm like, come on, perfection isn't a little heavy. Yeah, he handled business. He definitely handled business, but perfection? What is the gauge of judging him? Like, I mean, yes, he definitely handled business, but you're fighting a 40-year-old fighter who stands right in front of you with a 50% knockout ratio. He doesn't have much power. He's old and he's stuck in his ways. He stands right in front of you. He wants to exchange. He should have been able to get him up out of there when he had him hurt. He beat him into running away from him and turning around, and he couldn't get him out of there. So I was kind of like, I'd like to see him finish. But in my opinion, he stayed hesitant because I don't feel like he trusts his shot-taking ability that much. I think that's still an issue. Maybe he doesn't. He's still kind of hesitant to take a big shot. I don't think he trusts his jaw. Was what I got from that. Like, you know, if you're a grinder, you know, like I was saying to Lee, I don't think he does the tire drill. You know what I say when I'm talking about that? Both fighters put their feet in the tire and you kind of just do inside work.
Yeah, go around the circle.
I'd like to see more inside work from him.